If you like to focus on the positive and steer away from the negative, you're in the right place. Welcome, all joy bunnies. This is the My Slice of Life podcast. Are you stuck in a rut in the kitchen? When's the last time you tried something new? That is what we're looking at this week, friends. Welcome to the My Slice of Life podcast. We're going to get creative in the kitchen this week. If you haven't been here before, my name is Sharon. Very glad you could join me. And yeah, we're going to look at getting creative in the kitchen, bringing that joy back to the kitchen. Let's face it, it's so easy for us to get stuck in a rut. We buy the same things week in, week out. We make the same things because it's easy, it's predictable, we know what we like. It's not always easy getting out of your comfort zone, especially if you're cooking for other people. It's okay, I think, if it's just for ourselves, but other people, what's this? And you see them picking through it and the face that they make, it can be off-putting. But we're not going to let that deter us, are we? No. But do you tend to stick with old favourites? Do you rely on takeaways to fill the gaps? That is really expensive. Even if it's like boxed meals or, the pizzas and the ready meals, they are not cheap. The good news is that getting creative doesn't have to cost you extra money. It could actually end up saving you quite a bit, to be honest, so that is good. So I have some top tips to share with you to try and encourage us, me too, to stay away maybe from the same old. Try just to get out of our comfort zone and try something new. And the top tip, number one, I'm going to give you is get some basic sauces under your belt. I bet with all those S's in that sentence, I've really messed up you if you're wearing headphones. I'm sorry about that, good luck. Scottish accent, I can't help it. But yeah, basic sauces. Things like a tomato sauce, white sauce, cheese sauce, parsley sauce. If you have got those, and they're not difficult, they're really not difficult. You can find 100 recipes online. You see, like just for a basic tomato sauce, just for example, I'll cut up an onion, clove or two of garlic, fry it up, chuck in a tin of chopped tomatoes, throw in some herbs. Now, I'm coming to that later, but that is like a basic sauce. Let it cook for a while so it thickens up. That's very, very basic. Same with the white sauce. Melt your butter, bit of flour to make the roux. It sounds like a strange thing, but that's what it is. And then gradually add the milk, keep whisking so there's no lumps. That's a very, very basic white sauce. And from there you can make your cheese one and a parsley one. So I would really encourage you, if you don't know how to make just the basic ones, learn. It will save you a fortune. You can make them in bulk and freeze them. So don't worry about that. Make loads of them and you will never be out of ideas for the kitchen. Number two, I'm going to suggest you really get into making stir fries and soups if you don't already. Fantastic way of using up any veg you've got left over or just wanting to get more veg into your diet. Great way of doing it. And don't forget, it doesn't have to be all the fresh veg. If you've got, say, a tin of beans, you bought butter beans thinking you're going to make something with them, chuck them into either a stir fry or a soup. Lentils, tin of lentils, chuck them in. So it doesn't always have to be what's in the fridge. Check the cupboards as well. You'd be amazed what you can put together. If you're really not sure, I would urge you, either go online. There are loads. I love the Tesco site for the recipes. They're really good. And there's another one I use. Something about all recipes. I think that's what it's called. Something like that. I mean, if you type in recipes, they're going to come up. But the Tesco one in particular is very good, and Jamie Oliver, his site is excellent as well. But if you want to just get the basics, get that. It'll save you a fortune. Again, especially with soup, make a huge batch and freeze it. You'll never be hungry. You've got good, healthy food there. Make a soup. If you do already do that, make one you wouldn't normally. I made one the other week. It was a cheese and broccoli soup. I got a recipe out of a magazine. I thought I'll give that a go. Not one I would normally do. I thought it was okay. And dearest son actually loved it, so win-win. And I made enough for a few days, so I did freeze it and have that for a few days. Now the next thing I'm going to say, herbs. Oh, they make all the difference. It's unbelievable. And if you don't grow your own, I would really urge you to grow them. There's nothing better than going out the back door. I've got all my pots just out the back door for the herbs. You just nip out, pick them fresh. Okay, not just now when it's rotten weather, but you know what I mean. Pick them fresh and pop them in the food, whatever you're making, stir fry, soup, curry sauce, whatever it is. You cannot beat using your own. And if that's not an option, don't forget you can grow them, a lot of them on your windowsill inside. But if that isn't an option, even the ones from the supermarket, they'll do. You could dry them as well, by the way, and keep them so you've got a supply through the winter. If you see them on sale, you know, at the end of the day, maybe they've got a big pack of parsley or whatever it is for 10p, buy it. If you're not going to use it all, find out whether you need to dry it or chop it up and put it into little ice cube trays, just a little drop of water. There are some that don't dry very well and keep their flavour when you dry them. Parsley is one of them. I would suggest, if you have the parsley, chop it up small, put it in ice cube trays, pack it in a little drop of water just so it's got something to freeze in, and then shove it in your freezer. And then when you want some parsley, take out a cube or two and throw it in your sauce. Job done. But they make such a difference to what you're making. And just to prove that point, if you were doing your tomato sauce that I was talking about earlier, add oregano, basil, rosemary, you've got an Italian sauce. If you add things like cumin, turmeric, curry powder, you've got your Indian sauce, like a curry sauce. Or if you add chilli, and that could be either chilies, you know, that you chop up, or dried. Ginger, same, could be fresh or dried. Paprika, cayenne pepper, that kind of thing. You've got a Mexican sauce. All of that from one basic tomato sauce and a combination of herbs. Now, if you were going to buy all them, it's going to cost you a small fortune. But if you just get your tins of tomatoes and stock up on some herbs, because let's face it, you buy a thing of herbs, it's about £1, and you get quite a lot in it. If you have your own plants, it's going to be a lot cheaper. But still, if you do need to buy, I mean, I do buy turmeric, I buy it by the bag. It works out cheaper than me trying to do all that myself. Ginger's not expensive. You know, you can find ones that are going to work for you and ones that you'll have to buy, but it'll still save you money. And again, a little bit of know-how. I spend more probably on the tins of chopped tomatoes than anything else when it comes to tins, because that's what I use a lot. Okay, so now we're doing stir fries, we're doing soups, we've got our basic sauces, we're using our herbs. Do you do any baking? Because it's okay knowing what you're doing for meals and for lunches and things, but let's face it, we all like a bit of bread or a sweet treat or a cake. I mean, when everybody was locked up in the house, did you take up the sourdough craze? Because I did. Are you still doing it? Because I know a lot of people started it and then kind of fell by the wayside when we got back into the routine. I did get into the sourdough. I am still doing it. I've killed a few. I will confess, I've tried a few different recipes. The one that I use now to keep the starter, I got a recipe on the Elliot, what do they call it? The Elliot Homestead. Shay Elliot, she does the Homemaker Chic podcast. I use her sourdough starter, but I use a bread recipe I got from Lisa on the Farmhouse on Boone website. She's got tons of sourdough. If you have sourdough and you're stuck for recipe ideas, go on to Farmhouse on Boone. That woman has got so many sourdough recipes on there. You could sit for hours, honestly, just looking through, and I have done. But her bread, she does a fantastic sourdough bread, and she uses coconut oil. That's my favourite one, and it really works. Works every time. But you don't have to stick to bread. If you do have sourdough, have you tried anything else? You can do cookies, there's cakes, pretzels. I made pretzels just before Christmas, sourdough pretzels. Oh, and again, I made so many, and I'm the only one who likes them, so I froze them in batches of 2, so that I would always have a spare one, and they were lovely. It took a wee while, but I liked it. If you like this kind of thing, then yeah, try something new. Pancakes, gotta be honest, they weren't appreciated quite so well as normal pancakes, but you know, each to their own. And don't forget, even if you are doing just breads, in inverted commas, you get all different kinds of that too. You could I don't know, you've got your wholemeal breads, seeded breads, rye breads, your farmhouse loaf. Add some cheese to it, add some dried herbs, some dried tomato, bit of garlic, whatever you can. There's no end. The only thing here that's going to stop you is your imagination or your ability to find information. And like I say, that Farmhouse on Boone website, it's Boone is Boone if I remember right. Tons and tons of recipes. Same with the Tesco and the Jamie Oliver. Even those three. And I would throw in the all recipes. I think it's all recipes. They're brilliant. So from all that, you could make your own. It doesn't have to be sourdough, by the way, but now you can start making your own cakes, cookies. Cookies are really, really easy and basic, and you can make a lot and freeze them. And then if you're going to go and buy them in the shop, at the moment I think we get 4, and a lot of the packs used to all be 5. Some of them now are 4, and the average is about £1.65 for 4 cookies that don't taste as good as the ones you make yourself. They just don't. There's always that kind of chemical I know they have to put stuff in it to preserve it and things. If you make your own, you don't have to do that. If you don't want to make your own, by the way, and you're just buying them reduced at the end of the day, maybe you get a pack of 5 for 50p or something, you can still freeze them. So don't think that you can't buy them because they'll go off. I freeze everything. But you can make sweet treats of all kinds if that's what you like. Do you remember we all used to have, when I was little, people always had somebody in the house who'd make tablet or coconut ice or just these little tray bakes, and they cut the bits up small. We weren't eating tons and tons of it, but it got shared out. People seem to forget that these are things we can make. They make them now, I think, for fundraisers, and don't think to make it at any time of the rest of the year. But I want to encourage us not just to go and buy this stuff. We've all got cookbooks. I've mentioned this before. Get creative. Another way to increase your creativity is use a different cut of meat. And if you're not sure, ask for advice, because the cheaper cuts, they can be tougher. They might need cooked in a slightly different way. Now, this is where your slow cooker will come in. I have one of those machines. It's getting a bit tatty now, actually. Some of the coating looks like it's going to start coming away, so I might have to replace it. But quite often with these cheaper cuts of meat, you put them into your slow cooker with one of these sauces that you have made brilliantly. By the way, if you are making tomato sauce, sprinkle in a little bit of sugar. Forgot to say that, but that works a treat as well, just to help with the acidity levels of the tomatoes. A little bit of sugar helps. But if you stick all that into a slow cooker and cook it low heat for a long time, that meat will be soft and tender. Nobody's going to know it was a cheaper cut. But if you're not sure, ask the butcher, how would I cook this? And if they don't have a clue or you don't want to ask, again, go online. You will not be the only one. I can guarantee you will not be the only person who, especially now, is trying to save a few quid and trying to learn how to use different cuts of meat or cheaper cuts of meat. We're all doing it. So you're as well finding out now and use that knowledge to get creative. Another way you can do it, add a different veg to the one that you normally use. Or if you always stick with the same, like saying at the beginning, do you stick with the same old? Do you add aubergines, courgettes, peppers, celery, beetroot? Beetroot is such an underrated veg. It's great in salads. Have a look and see. You know what you normally buy. Try and get a new veg into your diet as well, and experiment with it. Do you use a spiralizer? I tried briefly. It didn't work for me. I didn't like it. But I do grate veg into dishes. So like if you're making spaghetti bolognese, you could grate a courgette into that or a grate carrot into that, and you're having more veg. It doesn't really affect the taste, and especially if you're trying to get kids to eat more veg, they're never going to notice. But just small steps boost your creativity and have a bit more fun in the kitchen. That's what this is all about. I urge you, whether it's online or one of those books you never ever use, look through, pick a recipe, either one that you really like the look of or one that you've heard about and you've always thought, I'd like to make that someday. We all have one dish where you think, one day I'm going to learn how to make that. I urge you, Find that recipe this week. Get the ingredients and make it. Please just boost your creativity in the kitchen. It will boost your own confidence in the kitchen. And again, then your skills. Like I say, once you can do these basic things, couple of sauces, stir fry, soup, bit of bacon, how to use herbs, use a cheaper cut of meat and some different veg. What else do you need to know? Really, what else do you need to know? You'll be the master of your own kitchen. Just a little bit of creativity here and there. I'm not talking every night of the week. You know, we have to be realistic. We're all busy. So this isn't going to be every night of the week, but maybe a night of the weekend. Maybe you've got a Friday night or a Saturday night, or maybe Wednesdays are quiet. Whatever little pocket you can fit it into, try something new. Or maybe you do want to set yourself a challenge for the next week. Every single night this week, I'm going to add something new, or I'm going to make something different, or I'm going to try that new thing. Maybe your family's kind of a bit hesitant about having different soups, or they're not too keen on stir fries, but you're going to find a way to make it work. So good luck with that. Get creative in the kitchen. I really hope it works well for you. So that is it this week. I hope you have found that helpful, and I hope it encourages you to get a little bit more creative in the kitchen. Not just for this week, but from now on. There's so much joy to be had in food preparation and just baking and making our own instead of relying on the shops and all the chemicals and crap that they put into the food that we do not need. I'm telling you, you start going down this road, being more creative, making your own, use your freezer, make the freezer work for you, have a drawer for sauces, have a drawer for soups, whatever way you want to do it. Make it work for you. I'm telling you, it's going to be healthier, you're going to feel better, you'll get more enjoyment. Dinner time won't be this drag. You can get excited about it again. Isn't that what we want? Don't we all want to just be joy bunnies in our own kitchen? Yeah, you knew I was going to slip it in somewhere, didn't you? Have you joined the Joy Bunny clan yet? Oh, sorry, I can't help it. It's there. I've said it. So that is it for this week. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you stayed to the end, thank you very much. I do appreciate it. I really do appreciate it. There's links underneath for you for the blog, the YouTube, the Buy Me a Coffee and so on. Check out the Buy Me a Coffee. There are a couple of free little downloads there for you if you want to have a look. Checklists and cleaning PDFs and things. I am slowly working on trying to increase my stock there for you. So do have a look. If you want to do your own podcast, I do have a link below there for you as well. We can get your own podcast running with Podbean and get your first month free. So that's good. And there's also a link if you have a business and want to advertise, and you can get $100 free advertising with Podbean using my affiliate links. So I hope you have time to go and check them out. I would really appreciate it. If nothing else, tell someone else about the podcast. Spread the word. Let's recruit as many people as we can to our Joy Bunny clan. Crikey, that's not easy to say. Okay, I'll leave you with that. Until next time, you take care of your wee self.